What's happening, everyone? I am Dial here with another classic movie review. We are once again getting into the Bad Boys franchise. Bad Boys Ride or Die is going to be out in theaters this weekend, so we're going back and talking about the previous Bad Boys movies. I've already talked about the original Bad Boys. If you guys haven't seen my review for that, check out my channel. It is on the most recent upload, I believe, or one of the most recent uploads. And I also made a playlist called Bad Boys, and that's where all the Bad Boys reviews are going to go. You guys know how this works. But let's not waste any more time. Let's get into Bad Boys 2 that came out in 2003. Let's get into it. So if you see my review for the original Bad Boys, you guys will know I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good film. Honestly, I think it's probably one of the best films that Michael Bay has done. Ironically, that was his directorial debut, and I thought he did a pretty solid job. It's not perfect. I definitely still have my issues with it, but I definitely think it was a fun buddy cop action movie. And of course, the two actors that helped elevate this movie and the rest of the franchise going forward is Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. I thought their chemistry was great, even with all the weird writing that Michael Bay has. Like they managed to elevate the material to make it seem better than what it actually is. So with Bad Boys 2, man, I've heard so many things about Bad Boys 2. For a lot of people, they consider this to be the best of the Bad Boys movies, and some people even consider this to be one of the best Michael Bay films. For me, I'm not gonna lie. This movie does hold a special place in my heart because this was actually one of the first movies I saw in theaters. And take that statement for how you will. Yeah, I was probably too young to see it in the theaters, but still, I had a blast watching this movie. I'm going to say off the gate that Bad Boys 2 is probably one of my biggest guilty pleasures of all time. I really enjoy Bad Boys 2. I'm not even gonna mince words with you. I do really enjoy it. But I acknowledge from face value, if you look at all the stuff that goes on in this film, this movie is crazy. This movie's insane. I don't even know if I could wholeheartedly say that this is a good movie. Like, clearly, yeah, this is a mess. And I guess we got to go back a little bit of history with Michael Bay before this film came out. Because the movie he made before this was Pearl Harbor. And at that time, Michael Bay was trying to make an Oscar movie with that film. If you guys haven't seen Pearl Harbor, good on you, because honestly, Pearl Harbor was not that good. But yeah, so it didn't really do as well as he wanted to. That was Michael Bay trying to get out of his comfort zone and actually trying to make a movie that was like very serious and like have really great performances. And he tried to make it somewhat of a biopic, but it really wasn't. And it's like, once again, he was trying to make it an Oscar film, but that movie got trashed when it first came out. It got really bad reviews, didn't do that well at the box office, didn't really help to elevate anyone's career acting wise. So I feel like with Bad Boys 2, which is the next film he made after that, I feel like that was kind of like a therapy for Michael Bay. In a way, like, this Bad Boys 2 is the start of like what we actually come to know Michael Bay for when it comes to his directing style, the way he shoots movies, his bombastic action scenes, his crazy explosions, his over-sexualization of hot women. This was actually the start of it. Like, you watch Bad Boys 2, and that pretty much emulates his directing style from this point forward. This movie is so much bigger and crazier than the first film. Like, this, well, first of all, the length of this film is like way longer. This movie is like reaching 2.5 hours. It's like 2 hours and 27 minutes. The original film, I think, was under 2 hours, a little bit under 2 hours. So yeah, this movie is super long. This movie has 10 times more action sequences. This movie like has quite a bit of racial stereotypes, actually. The comedy they amped up in this, like, literally, this is the first film like times 10 on some crack and cocaine. And like, as I said, like all the stuff that they put in this film, I should hate this movie. There's so many crazy things going on in this movie. This should be a movie that should hate. But for some reason, Michael Bay just goes for it in this movie. Like he's having a time of his life making this film. And I feel the same thing with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. Like both of them are having a ball making this movie. And very similar to how I felt about the first film, even though there's a lot of weird stuff with the writing, there's probably a lot of overbloated, convoluted things with the plot. But Will Smith and Martin Lawrence make the best of what they are put into. They make this film entertaining. They make this film a lot of fun. Their banter, their chemistry, the comedy and wit that they have back and forth with each other, how they play off each other in action scenes. It's so fun. This movie is so fun. It's dumb. It's absolutely dumb. Yes, but still, like I was not bored at all in this movie. There was actually a few times where I was laughing. I actually was blown away by some of the action set pieces. Like, I don't know what to tell you guys. This movie, it did it for me. It really did. So like this movie starts out with Mike and Marcus breaking up a KKK meeting, and it's like they're doing a shootout with the KKK. Like, this is a movie you cannot make today. There's no way a film today would have this like bombastic action set piece with the Ku Klux Klan and the two leads, being the two black leads with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. I don't think you will ever see something like that today. But like literally that opening scene set the tone for the rest of the movie. Like literally, like we have slow motion shots, we have a bunch of explosions. Literally, Marcus gets shot in the ass by Mike. And like that should be something like from face value, I should be groaning and rolling my eyes. But I think that shit is hilarious because of how much Marcus and Mike are selling how silly this is. They're going along with it, man. And they're just making it so fun. As I said, the action set pieces in here, freaking insane. Like this movie has one of the craziest car chase sequences I've ever seen, where like Mike and Marcus are chasing these Jamaican guys, and they got this like giant truck that holds a bunch of other cars, and they're releasing cars onto the freeway, smashing into other cars. Like, dude, this is so elaborate, and all this there's no CGI in that sequence. They actually got a big 18-wheeler carrying a bunch of cars and just releasing them off the truck and having them smash into the cars. That actual cars getting smashed into other cars, actual practical stunts happening. Like I was blown away by how insane these sequences were. And there's another car chase sequence where they're chasing this van with a bunch of dead bodies, and the dead bodies flying out of the van, and they keep running over the dead bodies, and the dead bodies keep landing onto the windshield and all that stuff. I'm like, dude, how can he make movies like this today? You can't. It's too crazy. It's too out there. It's so silly. I know. There's another shootout with the Jamaicans in like this like abandoned whatever motel wherever they're in, and like you have the vintage Michael Bay spinning shots of like Mike on one side of the wall trying to shoot at the two sides of the door, and they're spinning around and showing the other side with the Jamaicans trying to shoot through the door and stuff like that. Elaborate camera shots like that. The shootouts in here is insane as always. The freaking car chase sequence there where Mike and Marcus are driving in a Hummer through a mansion, and then they eventually drive in, like, I think they're in Cuba or whatever, and they're in these project houses, and they literally drive the Hummer truck through these houses, like explosions everywhere. Like, dude, it's so insane how how much Michael Bay went for it with the action set pieces. Like, it just literally, this did feel like his therapy movie. I think so. After Pearl Harbor, he was just going to go all out. He was going to try stuff that he hasn't done before. Like, it's insanity. And while all the bombastic action scenes are happening in here, like, as I said, the comedy, I actually thought there was solid comedy in here. Now, there were a couple of jokes and some poor taste jokes in here. Not all the humor worked for me. This movie's actually pretty mean spirited and a little bit racist. Because they definitely have some racial stereotypes in here, and like Mike and Marcus are playing into the racial stereotypes as well. And it's like, if it wasn't for Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, if anybody else was doing the racial jokes and stuff like here, it would come off pretty bad. But the fact that Will Smith and Martin Lawrence are doing it, and once again, their delivery is so good, their comedic timing is so good, is that you don't mind a little bit with how racist the stereotypes are in this movie. But yeah, there's some other weird comedy in here that I personally did not appreciate. Like, there's this whole the main plot of the film is that once again, it's a drug lord plot. But instead of heroin, it's ecstasy. They're making ecstasy pills and they're hiding it in dead bodies and they're smuggling it to get money or whatever. So yeah, but yeah, there's like a weird scene with the ecstasy where Marcus accidentally takes a couple of pills and he starts getting all like acting weird, and like there's the one scene where Mike and Marcus go to the captain's house to tell him about the dead bodies, and he starts getting all sexual and playing with the statues at his house and stuff like that. So that stuff I thought was a little too over the top. And then there was this there's this other scene where Mike and Marcus are disguising themselves as exterminators, and they're trying to put trackers and wires in the drug lord's house. And I can't believe that Michael Bay put this in the film. I can't believe anybody would even think about putting this in the film. Why is this even in the movie? This did not need to be in here at all. But there's literally a scene where Marcus is watching two rats fucking. I'm not joking. That's actually a scene in the movie. Marcus actually sees two rats humping each other. Michael Bay, why? What the heck? Why did we need to see that? Didn't need to see that at all. They go to a video store to place some surveillance cameras on the drug lords, and like they accidentally play a video of some chick getting fucked in a car. I'm like, why is that even in there? And then Marcus and Mike have like this heart-to-heart talking about like all the stuff that they went through, and like it unintentionally sounds like sexual innuendo, and they're actually accidentally being recorded in the video store, and everybody in the video store like hears what they're talking about and they think that they're gay. I'm like, it's humor like that we didn't really need in there. But once again, it's just like Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, they're making this stuff watchable. Like, if it was anybody else, I would think this stuff would be absolutely terrible, but they make it entertaining. Literally one of my favorite scenes in this movie, probably one of my favorite comedic scenes in this film. Of course, I'm sure a bunch of people know about this scene, and they probably think it's their favorite too. The scene with Reggie, where like there's this boy that's trying to take Marcus's daughter on a date, and Marcus plays like the scary, intimidating father, and then Mike comes in and plays like the drunk, like friend of the family or whatever, and brings out the gun like, I just got out of jail, I ain't going back. It's like, what the hell are you here? And he's like, I came to take on Megan. Like, how old are you? 15. Shit, nigga, you look 30. Like, dude, that scene is so hilarious to me. Like, that scene's out of context. That scene comes out of nowhere. But it's that type of chemistry that Mike and Marcus have that make that scene work so well. and how Reggie is just like how he's selling the scene, like he's pretty much scared of Marcus, you know, and stuff like that. And it's like he's so timid. It's like, dude, that scene is so funny. It's so hilarious. Like whenever people talk about Bad Boys 2, that's the scene that people like to talk about, is that Reggie scene, and understandably so. It's so good. Um, Gabrielle Union as Sid, Marcus's sister. I thought she was pretty good. Um, I don't think there's anything too standoutish about her character really. I like Gabrielle Union a lot. So I'll watch her in anything, to be honest. I enjoy her as an actress, but as far as her character, I don't know. It's not really that in depth. Like they do the typical undercover story where it's like she tries to infiltrate the drug lord stuff, and like she can't tell Marcus anything because she's undercover, and then like that'll put her in jeopardy, and Marcus getting upset. So that's the typical hot chick in a movie that has to go undercover, and like it's that type of stuff. But Gabrielle Union did the best with it. I thought she worked pretty well. There wasn't really anything offensive that they did with her, thank goodness, because it is a Michael Bay film, and they easily could have done perverted shots of her, and it actually was. I don't remember it being there wasn't anything that bad that they did with Gabrielle Union. So good on them. Teresa, Marx's wife, we don't really get that much of her, not as much as she was in the first film, but I'm glad that she's back. I liked her a lot. And the captain from the first movie, he's pretty good. He seems to play his character a little bit more angry and like going through like blood pressure problems. So a little bit more stereotypical than how he was in the first film, but still I enjoyed him. Joe I'm gonna mispronounce his last name, Pentiolano. I don't know why I always have a hard time saying his last name, but I thought he was good. Once again, the villain in this film is terrible. Didn't like him at all. It's just like Lily. There's nothing that different from what's his name, Hector, and then the drug lord from the first movie. Like he's literally playing it very similar to how the villain was in the first film. He's once again angry, yelling at everybody, and just like I didn't care. Like Lily, it's copy and paste. Like there's not much to say about Hector. He has a daughter and a mother that he's looking after, and tries to have some sort of thing going on with Sid, but not really anything there. Hector is just another bland, generic drug lord villain. Don't care. Oh, there's this whole other thing too, that Sid and Mike actually started dating, and they decide to not tell Marcus. I don't know why he doesn't decide to tell Marcus. I mean, I get that Marcus is the overprotective sibling, but like Mike is his best friend. I would think that he would be more open to him dating her sister, because they're best friends. They know each other for years, and he won't treat her wrong, I don't think, even though Mike is a kind of a womanizer. So I guess I kind of see why Marcus didn't want to tell him. I see why Mike didn't want to tell Marcus at first, but even still, like the whole like hiding their relationship, and then he eventually finds out, and then Mike and Marcus get into a fight about her, and like once again, that's the type of mean spirited stuff in here, because like Lily, Marcus says to him that he doesn't think that he's good enough for his sister, and I'm like, why would you even say that to your best friend? Like, you guys known each other for years. Like, you guys trust each other. You've been through so much together. I'm just like, why? I don't know. I found that stuff mean-spirited. That stuff very similar to how I felt about the whole liar reveal story in the first film with them mixing identities. It's another unnecessary storyline here. And then they tease the whole subplot with Marcus possibly retiring, and like he's just tired of getting in all these crazy situations and dealing with dead bodies, and kind of getting tired of Mike's BS that he teases the idea of retiring. And so there's a subplot there that does have some emotional resonance here and there, but I think kind of was undercooked because of all the crazy action that's in this movie. But overall, even with all the problems that I have with this film, I enjoy watching this movie. I think it's a lot of fun. It's probably one of the most entertaining action films I've ever seen. Um, I definitely enjoyed this more than the first film, even though there's a lot more offensive things in the movie from face value. The action is a lot more obnoxious and bloated. The length of this movie. This movie did not need to be 2 hours and 27 minutes. Like this could just been 2 hours, to be honest. Like, but Michael Bay had to put in all those gratuitous action scenes in here. I did feel the pacing in the middle. But even so, like it's a guilty pleasure movie for me. Like Will Smith and Martin Lawrence's chemistry, and I even like Gabrielle Union in here. Like their chemistry together works so well, and it's entertaining watching them in these action sequences. Where even though the writing in here is pretty bad, they make it fun. They make it entertaining. So I would go back and watch this movie again. And I you know what? I will say this is probably one of the most entertaining Michael Bay films that I've watched. If you're asking me what are some of my favorite Michael Bay films, this will definitely be up there on the list. So overall, I will give Bad Boys 2 a B. Yeah, I enjoyed the movie. It was pretty good, in my opinion. Even though I know the movie is weird, it's over the top, it's crazy, but I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. But those are my thoughts on Bad Boys 2. What did you guys think about it? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys think it was okay? How does it compare to the first film? How does it compare to the rest of the franchise for you? Yeah, comment your thoughts down below and let me know. So the next film I will be talking about is Bad Boys for Life. So tune in for that when it comes out. But if you guys enjoyed this review, please don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to hit the bell if you want to be notified on future videos I'll be doing. But that's all I have for you Bad Boys fans, and I will catch you guys next time. Talk to you guys later. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, bad boys.